Hi, this is Brennan Moriarty. Look, I'm trying to do a whole bunch of things. Because basically I'm in this environment right now where um, I'm exposed to a lot of ideas, psychologically, geographically, right? And so I did this 12 years ago. I went to the old world, went to Ireland, and had this sociological sort of epiphany that this is what is the reality is in West America. So I had this epiphany, and I started like it's kind of like the whole process of seeing the sociology is also seeing the product. So like it's like marketing within itself, um, and functional sort of existence, architecture, beauty, music, finding time for poetry, fantasy, but also painting a picture of reality with this fictional safety sort of sphere, so that you're seeing this sort of world um, using, beauty and language. Um, Saying stuff that normally you wouldn't have to say because people would already perceive you as normal winner, one whose body language is already communicating this stuff and not requiring it, other forms of language, other products, other statements, positions. So like manifest destiny, shadow fingers. Make it all dark, but I look too good for that. So the this main thing that always it's like basically I see something and I want to find the solution. I want to find the scientific solution, and yet when it gets too scientific, then you go towards the poetry. So song and things moving. But the science, in many cases, is completely disenchanted, where there's like serious like confusion, like in manifest destiny. You have this traffic jam. Everyone's, oh, I'm going to go pursue my civility out there, independently, get out of my way. But everyone's trying to get out of everyone else's way, and there's no way. So traffic, automobiles. This is this great sort of escapist from the sociology, sort of like I can escape it. Just um, the dysfunctional sociology, society, from your normal feelings of how you feel about everything around you. You don't need you already have what you need mentality, and your general feelings of what is the best stuff that is feasible, that is reasonable and peaceful, and going completely nuts, trying to buy a bunch of junk, enslaving yourself. So on the traffic one, because this one is very sort of, you know, transport is really, really fundamental towards humanity. Okay, so moving things, moving people, moving the right dreams to the right place, and not too much dreams, because some people will take advantage of that mentality and say, all they want is dreams, and hear the screams, and that's not good, because people do that cry wolf for a reason, right? A blog wolf. So the vehicle, so imagine this, imagine that basically vehicles travel in road trains, just like the locomotive, the first engines that moved things were steamships, but also locomotives much faster, less subjective as the land was basically all one big plain. There's a mountain or an ocean, a ship, So these are the subjective things, but in the plain, so to speak, there's to move stuff around commerce and people, and so basically you have these road trains, and the vehicles automatically connect into these convoys. They have this. So this is one of these tricks, is to getting an autopilot that allows the vehicles to connect and to disconnect at somewhat random, yet without disturbing the efficiency and comfort of the convoy. So the convoy is basically one vehicle at the front pulling, and all the other vehicles are being pulled, and there's no stop signs. There's no there's at the front of the convoy. This engine. There's maybe three wise men, if you will. At the top, insurance, automobile, driving insurance, and like the mayor's saying hello to everyone, looking for those problems, people who creatures who become animals or people or children who would get in front of the convoy, understanding what's the psychology there, a snapshot of this. This is something that can happen now. It's taking snapshots. Who are the gross polluters, disturbances. Not as a sort of not as like now I know it. There he is. But more as a study of the psychology. There could be some generally bad people out there, but there also could be some normative reactions. If you can study that, then it becomes part of the system that goes into the greater convoy, the greater sort of liberation from the tyranny of general bad things, but also of normally disastrous type of reactions, not just general actions, but normal reactions. So it's a very complex, and it's like something that's twisting up, and there's all these threads that are coming into it, and you're having this giant ball of yarn type of thing that you can take a course on and say, look at there it is, that's what either the hypothesis or the epiphany becomes evident because you are actively, saying, let's have sensors. Let's say, hey, what is the problem, So you have these sensors that do that thinking for you, so you're not like, the zombie like trying to find. Whereas like a litmus, so that's sort of like the person who walks through the store and very quietly takes a picture of the produce. So like your food, it could be sitting on the shelf for 2 weeks, and the salesman says, "Oh, that's fresh from today." But if you have a picture, then you can say, there it is. Now we know, not I know, but we know, because there has to be a we for greater understanding. So you have these pictures, but it has to be a non-personal, because people don't want to get caught in sort of the psychology of being sort of overly concerned, sort of I'm watching type of overload of information, rather information that can be sampled from a statistical sort of core. All those that buildup of knowledge of information, not the virtue of knowledge. So I'm going to try and put this together in a thread of the convoy, the cruise control convoy, the vehicle of the future. 10 minutes. That's basically where. Okay, so the vehicle. Imagine something very light. You have two models. One that's extremely light, and one that's more durable for the sort of class. But ideally, you would not be able to tell them apart very well, or at least not from a silhouette. Um, but ideally, they're fully interchangeable components, minimal components that you build this vehicle that is highly functional, is more functional than anything else. And comfort enables, draws out efficiency. So it's because you have comfort, you're not like thinking, oh, if I could just go over there, I'd be more comfortable, you know. No, you're already there. You are there. You are simply editing, because that's only in the fantasy picture, but sampling and saying, okay, what are the real problems? So you could really find humanity's dangerous problems from the aforementioned normalcy and generalization, finding their function, their objective function. So rather than a subjective dysfunction, you have an objective function. So you could say everyone has a function, and so you'd be finding that. So basically, on this vehicle, not actual architecture, because this sociology is this bottomless pit that just kind of draws you down. But the architecture is this tower of power, just goes forever. It's like nothing like stars and gods up there, right? Well, they're junk, right? Okay, so the vehicle of the future is basically this it stretches all doors, so you're never trapped. If you put a bunch of stuff in your vehicle, it's not trapped. It starts molding or rotting in there. You simply open the doors and you can actually tilt these things. They'd be so light and literally clean things, completely clean. And this is not beyond, but before medicine. Not to sort of say, oh, there's like some rotting germs in there, so let's just pour medicine out. And that makes the germs stronger. If you clean it, it's like the elbow grease, right? You have to have a decency that's not trapped in there. That, I know this is very philosophical as well. But you're not trapped here, so you're basically all doors. The convoy is driving these road trains like parades, okay? Really sort of, you get the right people because you choose that convoy over a period of time. You build up this personal profile to stratify yourself to be with the type of people you want to be with. And so you are always happy. You're always comfortable with the people who you have chosen and designated yourself to be happy with, even if that doesn't include your own family, okay? Because that's, you don't want to see road rage at any time, particularly in the new world, because the old world looks at the new world for examples, and sometimes they're just ambivalent, like, oh, whatever type of thing. So, okay, so you have this convoy. It's a software mentality. Purpose, function, objective function, and comfortable happiness. This is efficiency. Efficient. All these words, they don't have to kind of like funnel into this bottomless pit. The tower of power is it just has to be right. It just has to be functional. Okay, you don't build a tower of power that does nothing. It just becomes an eyesore. Okay, so this vehicle of the future. So it's what is the point? Oh yeah, so it drives, because it's in a convoy, and the lead vehicle has an advanced autopilot. Um, it doesn't just find the convoy and avoid, very slowly park itself in the most reasonable parking place there is, which is like in a train. But basically, these vehicles, they all travel on the same track. And so you could have these very thin little, like a rail, but more like concrete. So it's always driving on these two little strips, 90% of the time. And there will be. It's not like the vehicle of the future is going to be everything. There's still going to be race cars. Still going to be big trucks that will hopefully ride on the convoy because they do the most damage to the road. But basically, you have these two strips that are super smooth, and so the vehicles are, there's virtually no potholes because the road is reduced by 95% in surface area. You just have these two little strips. You maintain those, and the rest of the road stays like virgin. And no one ever drives on it, hardly ever. And including authority figures or people with that giant truck. No, you control these destructive elements, these evil spirits, if you will. Whether normative reactions are generally destructive. So you control those elements. Okay, so yeah, so that's kind of this great big picture I'm working on, and I'm like I said, 10 years ago I went over to the New World and I had all these great ideas, and I had this epiphany of I was working on this equation, this very simple x equals, what I now realize is basically -1, so subtracting a dysfunctionality. So there's a small portion of the New World geographic extremes from this dysfunctional sort of denominator. You pull that out, and suddenly people are like, "Whoa, it's not so bad there. Let's go. Let's make it happen." Because you're removing that thorn. It's not a thorn. It's a sore thumb of a cultural normative value. So basically, I had all these concepts, and when I came back, my grandparents bought a condo in California to basically spend their end of their life. And my grandpa had just died a few years ago, and my grandma just went to a nursing home. And so I had the condo, so I came back and had this condo. You could see the ocean. Fortunately, the highway went right by the view, like really in between the ocean and the windows, is this major, fairly busy road, not a highway. But anyways, when I was there, I had this desk, and I had that phrase, nice little condo, and I was able to start focusing in on the stuff that I had conceptualized, and a lot of it was just architectural sort of fantasies and stuff like that. Basic beginnings of thinking. And so when I got back there, I started thinking, I got all these crazy ideas from the old world, and I said, okay, I'm just going to reduce them down to three ideas, so that I don't have this completely sort of tempest of thoughts going on. I'm just focusing on three, and those three were it's hard to remember now. I think it's the sociology one. Marine inventions, artificial surfing routes, and the third one was this roads type of thing. We were building trails, like rails, trails, and stuff like that. So these were those three things, and they're basically very, very logical things because trails are fun to go for a walk on. Trails can be anywhere in the city or with high mountaintop, and all have functional efficiencies, purpose functions, things that good things that can be done out there. And in the marine environment, this one is very fascinating. Artificial surfing is something that it's like the cloud that I float on type of thing. Waves. Roll sort of. So basically, the marine it's just a fascinating world, the marine world. Everyone wants to live by the beach. Making it highly dynamic and ecologically and and I don't want to say environment because that's the sociology thing, really. Uh, so, yeah, so I just focused on those three things, and so basically, like you say, people will go abroad, and their creativity is very sparked, right? But that's when they come back that they can curve it in. Benjamin Franklin sort of invented electricity after he had lived in Europe for many years. Just had it made, they said, Philadelphia, all right, It's very clear there was no jealousy and empire and ambivalence, silence, stuff like that. So basically, yeah, so at some point I'd like to focus in on that stuff, but it's chaos in the West Coast. And unfortunately, these are elements that are subliminally beyond sort of dissonant. They just, and, we have doors that are stuffed full of like people who want to go this way, people want to go that way, but you can't really open the doors to clean the problems that, and so this is where you need theory to figure out what's the function here, what is the real function, what is the purpose, what can people do, what should people, where should people project that normal confidence, that scientific influence, without having to see beauty so much that they're like literally on a cloud in their mind and stuff, and the escapist, and all coming back around in those threads and that core sample that you can say, look at the National Geographic. It's a very nice core sample. They take a piece of pie, pieces of pie. That's what the articles are really like. To show images and words of what is and what isn't. Not getting confused in that reality, because we can have excess without function and disefficiency. So my mind is constantly working on these poetic sort of flights, right? Sort of these constant sort of navigations of trying to like find the spiral, when really what you need is that pie slice, that graph. It becomes so evident, the dissonance, sort of the chord, sort of where are the strings, how do you pluck that string to get that sound that feels normal, comfortable, efficient, all these sort of functionality, and the feeling is, oh my God, Jesus Christ, there's all these ambivalence. So anyways, the vehicle of the future is something that will make the world so much better, and that cognitive dissonance of that concept sort of drives the traffic jam into this sort of melting sort of blob of, oh, I'm happy type of thing. I will buy my happiness type of thing. Whereas the real value, so dissonantly sort of trapped behind doors that have navigation problems. West America was not available, and so you have this traffic jam of who knows what. Is people do not. You have the popular image, the Hollywood image, the storytellers, the travel trailer, but you don't actually have the theory that hinges on how you let the good in and you get the junk out. How do you get the junk feelings out? as well as the generally dangerous, dysfunctional subject out of your head. So you're not even thinking like that. You're simply enabling goodness functioning. Sort of Captain Kirk. I can't believe it. This planet is so amazing. It's broken sort of language. That is simply looking at the door. It's not looking at the hinges. As logical as it may be, they are functions, objective functions, not sort of selling points. Okay, so they're simply functions that allow the selling point to be on point and not, going overboard, because it's very tempting just to say, there's no dysfunctionality. Don't go there, type of thing. So this vehicle of the future is something that I'm really, it's just exciting to imagine that we would have efficiency, but also a snapshot, a core sample of what is really not worth thinking, not safe to think about, but to have that knowledge functioning on the hinge, on the point that is, and it's basically, I was writing something, a caller's call type of thing, where you're, you want to have a revolution of goodness. You don't want to have a revolution of rats. That could happen. And so you have to make sure that you are functionally outpacing the rats, not the fat cats, not the rats, but the fat cats. It's not that sort of mafia picture. But the colors call, so basically, the location of inspiration. So you have to liberate these unthinkables, and at the same time cultivate the possible. Losing my language here. I think the thought is there, but where is there? That is the question, and that is really the answer. Okay, so you get the question by having the answer, and so you don't have these questions that are spinning in chaos, but rather answers that are shining a light that is known to be coming, so you can say, let's prepare for the light. It's twisted, okay, but it's part of this the weaving philosophy of humanity type of. It's very sort of getting crazy so that it doesn't get crazy type of function. Okay, so thanks a lot, and yeah, I'm just kind of languishing away. Very hot outside of the shade, and I don't know. Hope. Yeah, I'm trying to find a functional reality, but I'm also in a sort of environment where it makes me realize there is not a chance anyone can like that. It's very positive, and at the same time, I desperately need some sort of cloud and pain. So it's, I know from experience that the day after it rains, you feel great. The rain is a little muddy, but you just want to sleep through the rain, then the next day you are ready to do the good stuff. But very pragmatically, based on, as they say, class intelligence, function, purpose, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, okay? Whoever you are, okay.